Welcome, 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 everybody. I'm Cory3wing, and I'm here with my friend Aubrey Cardon, and this is Creators Creating, our weekly Wednesday tune-up call. Say hello, Aubrey.
Hi, I'm
I
Aubrey
love
Cardon. I'm a quantum architect, and I see the world in geometry. And I'm a healer, and I'm excited to be here.
right on. So, everybody, what we do when we start our circles today is I always like to open our conversation with the four agreements, and these agreements are our self-governance of how we are together. And so I'm going to go ahead and just read these out loud. I'm going to read them twice, like I always do. And here they are. Personal material shared in our circle is for our circle. Personal material shared in our circle is for our circle. We listen to each other with curiosity and compassion, withholding judgment. We listen to each other with curiosity and compassion, withholding judgment. We ask for what we need and we offer what we can. We ask for what we need and we offer what we can. And from time to time, we pause to regather our thoughts and focus. From time to time, we will pause to regather our thoughts and focus. So with that, our circle is open today. And what I want to talk about today with you guys is in my world as a coach, getting trained as a superconscious spirituality coach, understanding the three memories or the three dreams helps understand our human experience right here on Earth right now. And so from an ancient indigenous point of view, the three dreams, one of those would be the waking dream that we're sharing right now. We're awake, we're online, we're on Earth, it's 2024, we're alive together. So that's the waking dream. And then there's the nighttime dream, which is when we're asleep, which we do a different kind of work when we're asleep. And then there's the imagination or your creation, your aha, your access to spirit, which would be your super conscious dream. So there's three dreams or three perspectives of our world, or the three tools that we can see our world with. But today I want to take that with a little bit of science and research into what I call the three memories. Now, these three memories are important as we understand our journey, as we use our intellect to understand our spiritual journey, our expansion, our subconscious beliefs, the rules that we have been running our life by, often for decades, if not ancestral decades. And the memory number one, the first memory, is the all of you. It's your super conscious. It is the highest version of you, your soul level. It is all knowing. It is timeless. Depending on your belief system or your training or your education, where you come from in the world, this could include all of your past lives, all of your future lives, your quantum realities. It's as far and as big as your understanding and your imagination and your spirituality will take you. So memory one is the all of you. Now, memory two is sometimes the unconscious or the subconscious mind. And this is emotionally based. And this begins in our human evolution, sometime in vitro. Like we're still inside of our mother as a little baby. And this is when we develop the ability to be emotional. So somewhere around the second or third month of vitro, and this time period goes until about age 2, give or take a little bit. Everybody's a little bit different. But this is when we start to perceive our human experience with our emotions. We haven't developed the ability to think yet. We are just feeling. So we're mastering our emotions at this time. So in vitro to somewhere around 2 years old. And then memory 3 is more self-conscious. It's intellectually based. And this time period begins around the age of 2 and goes to around the age 7, 8 years of age, is when we begin to intellectualize and think about our emotional experience. So there's the memory one, the superconscious, the all of you, the timeless everything. Memory 2, which is purely emotional, which is often the direct source of your subconscious or your unconscious mind. And then memory 3 is intellectually based, but yet childish, that is self-conscious, that develops between 3 and 7 or so. So there's the structure of where I want to take our conversation today. And we're going to dig and unpack the importance of these 3 memories. But right there, with these 3 memories, any questions, sparks, information, anything going on in the room about these 3 perspectives of our human experience? Anything popping or sparking? All right. Well, understanding and respecting these 3 levels of consciousness, or the 3 memories, and how they interact with each other, this is what I call training to interact super consciously. From our superconscious mind, we can see the decisions and beliefs and behaviors that were installed from an emotional point of view, as well as an intellectual point of view when we were children, which often create the rules, the beliefs and behaviors that we've run for the rest of our lives. And so that's an important place to begin. Aubrey, why don't you talk a little bit about that superconscious realm, the all of us, the highest version of us?
Yeah. So everybody here has heard me teach a little bit about soul fractals and kind of what exactly that is. But I'm going to kind of go into sort of the nature of how we interact with our quantum self today. So those who are at Revival have seen this already. Susie and Gina, you guys know what fractals are, but this is an example of a fractal right here. And you can see it is an infinitely repeating pattern. It has developed past the original fractal, which is the flower of life. So every single one of our soul fractals, as we interact with each other, that fractal kind of makes our frequency and just sort of our resonance and how we experience things. So when we interact with each other, we learn from each other's soul patterns, and it actually shifts our fractal infinitely as if it was always that way. And through that, we gain more and more consciousness and more awareness of all that is one and all that we are. So when we are talking about our superconscious and our past lives or future lives, we're actually talking all about that one patterning, our soul fractal, our soul frequency. And the only thing that actually exists in all time and space is the now moment. So when we talk about past lives or future lives, we're actually not talking about things that have happened or are going to happen. We're talking about things that are currently happening right now. And so when we're accessing our superconscious, we are accessing the other aspects of our fractals that are experiencing their now moments. And so this, our fractals are all part of one source. We are all one consciousness that's experiencing through different perspectives. And so it's often that the other aspects of our soul fractals are going through the exact same lessons we are through different perspectives, because our soul consciousness is trying to learn and grow and fine tune specific pieces of our fractals. So you can get a ton of information by meditating into just yourself and your soul consciousness and your fractal energy, and finding kind of what else you're learning in places that aren't encoded with the other 2 memories that Cory's been talking about.
Right. Yeah. Any questions, comments, ahas about where we're headed today? All right. Well, let's dig a little deeper into the 3 memories. So our self-conscious memory, or the ego, that our thinking brain or our conscious experience, these are parts of our memory 3, our intellectualizing our experience, our emotional experience, and our spiritual experience. And the main personality starts forming at birth sometime or before this memory of the main personality stored in memory 3. This is who's making most of our decisions in our world today. Our personality parts are created through trauma or pain or discomfort that disrupts the main personality And they cause things like self-sabotage or suffering or, yeah, but I don't get to, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not capable, or the law of comparison. I don't have it, they do, I must not be good enough, they're better than me, I have to fix myself first. And I think we all come here playing with these toys, especially as children. We were a spirit that had it all. And then all of a sudden we are a baby, and then we're born just before they cut the umbilical cord. We still have it all. They cut the umbilical cord, and now we have nothing. And this begins our human experience of, oh my gosh, I have to do something to get something. So as a little baby, we're cold, we're new in this world, we take our first breath of air, we no longer have a continual supply of food, and we get uncomfortable and we cry. And then, oh, that first hold, oh, Ruru, mi niño, little baby, I've got you. And then we're being comforted. Then we're hungry, and then we get fed. Or then all of a sudden I'm happy as a little child, and I make little happy noises and cute noises, and then daddy giggles and tickles me. And now this early behavior sets up this problem-solving mindset where I have to do something to get something, compared to a quantum universe where we can just decide, step into, and experience and manifest. So here our spirit, having a human experience, loses that power, forgets those skills, and goes on a journey to remember them, to reclaim them. And every human goes on this journey. And I think this is a beautiful thing to understand. So the conscious mind, memory 3, this is the mind of your 5 senses, enabling you to consciously experience the physical world. The conscious mind is what we operate with during our daily activities and our waking hours. It represents a small portion of our consciousness and awareness. It is this thinking part of the brain, the part of our mind that needs to make sense of things, our reasoning, our logic, and our rationalization. So when we receive input from the senses, we analyze those facts, we make decisions based on information, and we are using this conscious level of guidance. This process is strongly affected by the opinions of others, which can cloud our ability to draw true guidance. Because, oh, mom and dad do that, so I will do it too. Grandma and grandpa do that, and I have a deep desire to belong, so I will do that too, even though it may not be mine or it might not resonate with it. So it's difficult to be completely certain of decisions drawn from this level, because the analytical mind can see all the possible solutions. But ultimately it doesn't have the ability to distinguish which one is best. It's usually, mom and dad are doing it. Where will I be safe right now? Becomes our dominant perspective. Where will I be safe right now? If we rely exclusively on the conscious mind, we may find ourselves lacking in certainty and slipping into a state of perpetual indecision. There's so much to choose from. I'm not sure about good and bad, right or wrong, but where am I comfortable? Where am I safe right now? Especially from a young, childish perspective, installing our values and beliefs that we will run on for decades to come until we wake up or have an aha or an awakening. So that conscious intellectual mind, memory 3. Let's pause right there for a minute. I know I'm giving you guys a ton of things to think about, but I also really want to make it simple, tangible, and understandable. So this memory 3, especially from that childish point of view, comparison, being safe as a child, installing lifelong beliefs. Anybody have any of these wake up moments as an adult to realize that, oh, I did that as a child, but I don't do it anymore? Or that was a behavior that my dad's side of the family did for generations, and I'm the one who changed it. These kinds of things. Anybody have any of those wake ups or ahas in your own world? And connections along those ways? That silence in the room. Whew. Yeah. All right.
I guess I could say something to that. I don't know if it's exactly what you're looking for, but as you went over these three memories and the stage of each one, I realized I have three grandkids, three grandchildren, and each one of them are in a different phase of this. I have a 6-month-old, a 2-year-old, and a 7-year-old.
There you
And I
go.
can see those traits, those the things you're talking about as far as their memory, what they're learning, how they react, how they do things. I can see that in each one of them. And in my oldest, I can see, especially as you talk about finding safety, finding what your life is about. Just, I mean, he's getting ready to go into first grade, and I can see his mind working and just putting all this stuff together. And as I thought about the connection with my grandkids and me, looking at all the stuff that's messed up in my life, my traumas, I had a plant medicine journey where I was shown very clearly me with my mom, and then my oldest daughter with my grandson.
Mhm.
And I realized that the trauma that was put on me by my mom, I did not pass that on to my daughter. And I'm watching her now raise her son completely different than the way I was raised. And it's good. And I feel good about it. And I feel happy. And so I can see how, yes, the mistakes that were put on me, however they came, they're not getting passed on. So I'm a bridge of goodness, I guess.
Yeah.
If that's kind of what you're looking for, I hope.
Yeah, that's a great example of watching the children in your life at those ages, because they're defining their own way to be on earth right now. They're through safety and what's easy and conflict and needing to belong, right? To serve, because they're working on their survival, because they're still children. They can't stand on their own yet. And so they're taking on other people's rules, other people's opinions, especially parents, grandparents, school, and church.
Yeah.
So,
And
okay.
that's very refreshing to see, knowing that they get a different start than I had, Yeah.
You gonna say something, Aubrey?
Yeah, yeah, I wanted to just kind of talk about how one of the things that I call this human experience is the Earth game. And if you think about it from a quantum perspective, that we're infinite beings having infinite experiences, and we can go wherever we want to go and do whatever we want to do. Eventually, what we might decide to do is create the type of experience where we could find go through the process of finding ourselves again over and over and over again. And these memories and these aspects of us that are part of our experience as adult human consciousnesses are really, they highlight the reason that it's so important to do inner child work and to find your play again, and to really view the world from childlike eyes. And it's really, I really love when I look at the human experience to really zoom out and look at it as a game and decide what game I'm playing, but also by taking that perspective of this is truly a game that I've decided to play, then finding the gift in little things that and the process of connecting more and more to yourself and to others. And so Chris, with you, when you are watching the work that you've done and your internal child, inner child work that you've done, and the deprogramming that you've created that has created an entirely new generation, you get this reflection of the universe that you get to experience on a small little level, and then also you get to zoom out and see the bigger picture and see how much healing that you've enacted in the world simply by deprogramming and finding and actually striving to love yourself. And it's just well done.
Bravo. Bravo. Yeah. So one of my mentors and heroes is E. Stanley Jones, and he writes a lot about consciousness. And here's a quote from him: "The conscious mind determines the actions, the unconscious mind determines the reactions, and the reactions are just as important as the actions." Right? And so in this memory 3, this is where we determine action, the intellect. We're going to think about something, compare it to our current experience, and make some choices about where to go. But in memory two, which is the unconscious or subconscious mind, this is where reactions happen. And then why is that? Because memory two started before we were able to think. And so it's an emotional response right off the bat. And we often do that at light speed. Often our emotional reaction happens first and often at the same time as an intellectual action. But because it's emotional and it's our ability to stay safe, we are very fast at making a reaction. Now think about all the reactions that we used to do when we were children or as young adults. Like when all of a sudden we were threatened or scared or attracted and delighted. These reactions about, hey, I'm really safe over there with those people and they feel good, they're pretty, they're sexy, they're fun. Or, oh, dad's doing that thing that he does and I can't stand it, but I need to belong, so I'm going to sacrifice and suffer so that I can stay here. Now we're in inner conflict a little bit. So that subconscious mind, memory two, this lies below the level of our conscious awareness. It's located in the lower brain and spine. It records everything we do. It's a master memory file. Every activity we engage in, our thoughts about those activities, our likes, our dislikes about what we encounter every day. And although nothing is forgotten by the subconscious mind, most of the time, this part of our consciousness remains hidden from our everyday waking moment, the daydream. However, the subconscious has a tremendous influence on how we think and act in the conscious state because emotions are light speed. The subconscious is relatively dim in awareness. It is the stuff of which dreams are made. We may think of it as the repository of all remembered experiences, impressions left on the mind by those experiences, and the tendencies awakened or reinforced by those impressions. So every experience that we've ever had, thought, every impression, loss or gain, happiness or sadness, pain or delight resides in the subconscious mind and determines our patterns of thought and behavior far more than we realize. It's very powerful. So as we are looking at our life from a heightened spiritual perspective, why do I feel like that? What is my healing, or what is my shadow story? What is the origin of my shadow story? As we do coaching work together, healing work, shamanic work together, it helps a lot to say, that safety behavior that's keeping me stuck now was formed when I was 5 years old, when I fell off my bike, and now I'm afraid of bicycles. Oh, okay. Or maybe there's another moment where every time I hear a loud crash, I get spooked because we were in a car crash when I was 1 year old in my mother's hands. And every time I hear a loud noise, I jump. And it started there. Or maybe there's an in vitro moment where mom was upset when she was pregnant with me. And when that emotion comes, I go into flight or fight mode. So we can kind of go back from a meditative spiritual experience and say, what is the root of this behavior that has kept me from XYZ? Or that belief, that problem I have to fix first. I believe I have to fix something first in order to have a happy life. That comparison. Why do the Jones, they have the money, they have the life, they have the lover. Why don't I? I must not be perfect. I must have to fix myself first because of these beliefs that started in memories 2 and 3. Is this making sense? This is kind of resonating in our human experience. We're spirits having a human experience. And so many of the safety rules that we survive by were built by our inner children, not a mature decision made, an immature, childish decision that then we struggle with in our adult life until we struggle enough to change it. And then we wake up, we remember, we come home, we heal, When we wake up, we take our power back, right? So the subconscious is influenced by past actions and previously wrong decisions and is like a binary computer, right? It accepts and rejects things as simple as a yes and no manner in order to make a decision. It deals with one thought at a time, positive or negative, yes or no. The benefit of this kind of thinking is to preserve our lives. It enables us to make a go, no go decision quickly, right? Does it make sense? About these three memories is a place to understand the root of our healing, our expansion. And I love talking about these things like the three memories because this gives our intellect the tools to understand our expansion before we expand, so that when we heal and rise up, we'll have more tools to expand even further. That's why I did that for so long. Oh, that's why my greatest grandmother, then my great grandmother, and my mother and my sister all do that. And it stops with me. And the ancestors who've passed already are on the other side saying, will you be the one who finally heals us all? So these are these intellectual tools to help us understand, take grasp, and to keep and to stay the course with our healing. Any questions or comments? The three memories, the all of you. Yeah, Susie.
Yeah, so while you were talking, I was thinking about my childhood, and what I discovered through a lot of sessions with Aubrey is as a child, my self-expression was blocked. And that has sort of affected me into my adulthood. And that is huge because it's really affected my worthiness. And even speaking right now, right, that entails a lot of confidence, and that I'm really reaching deep to be able to even speak in this little group. So, but that's just because I've been working, for over a year, with sessions and with going in deep and just pulling out those cords from my childhood. And even I like that you mentioned ancestry, because it also also pulling those cords as well. So it's a big package that I've been working on all together. So I just want to say that thank you for that, Cory, because that's been a journey and it's ongoing, and I'm just happy to be here and happy to be able to express that. I'm at this point where I'm able to express and a little bit of confidence. So thank you.
Welcome home, Susie. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah. And I just want to reinforce one more time for Susie and all of us that we are a safe place to be together and to share and to try new ideas, and where we all have permission to be clumsy and to self-correct and to rise and grow and heal together. So thanks, Susie, for claiming that in front of all of us. Appreciate that in a really big way.
It's been really beautiful to watch Susie come into her own, because it began with an awareness that her throat was blocked, and as she kind of got deeper and deeper into her heart and just allowed her heart to expand, and I've just seen Susie just grow and grow and grow in joy and awareness and expression. And so I just I really want to highlight how that really is a lot of just returning to heart. And Cory and I are going to be talking every time about returning to heart, because that really is, that's kind of the key to all of this. But when you're returning to your heart, what you're doing is remembering. And when you're reprogramming these types of experiences you would prefer not to have, that maybe you programmed very early, and like the second two memories, or even your quantum self had an experience that you didn't prefer to have. When you're reprogramming that, what you're actually doing is remembering what it's like to be whole and be you, and you're remembering what it's like to be love and to love others, and to just the way that you love yourself, and to just expand and grow. And I think it's important to when you're reprogramming, to step into a new version of you every time and give yourself the space to actually step into it, to the reprogrammed you and have it. So it's funny to me that when Cory and I first started talking about all of this stuff, he talks about healing as a never-ending journey, which is true. We are always healing and we are always growing. And I also, on the flip side, talk about how we heal and heal and heal, but we need to be willing to step into the healed version of us so that we can see what's next and continue that healing journey. And it's it's really lovely to see you, Susie. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for that. So I talked a little bit about, I unpacked a little deeper memory 3, the intellect, the conscious mind. We unpacked a little bit of memory 2, the emotional subconscious mind. And now I want to unpack the superconscious mind, memory 1, the all of us, the superconscious, the soul level, the best version, the absolute everything. Quantum physics tells us that nothing in this universe is solid. And if that is the case, then no matter how tiny each and every atom, molecule, or particle is, there must be space between everything. And if so, then life is more of an energy flow than a collection of solid things. So the superconscious mind encompasses a level of awareness that sees beyond material reality and taps into the energy and consciousness behind that reality. Some refer to this as the ether, the essence of the universe, a flow of electromagnetic waves that permeate all matter and space, or as the space in between our thoughts. The superconscious is where true creativity is found. It's our imagination, our creation, our intuition. It's our access to the field of knowledge, the Akashic records. Expression of this kind of creativity, these expressions are distinctive from those that come from the subconscious. The superconscious is where ideas for truly great works of art, music, prose, poetry, great scientific discoveries, deep spiritual experiences, all of these things are found in the realm of the superconscious. Profound healing of ailments can also take place in this state. Aha, healing, awakening, a new path, taking the high left road. The superconscious, the intuition and heightened mental clarity flow from superconscious awareness when we tap in to that higher version of ourselves, where we're the conscious collective, where we're all connected. The conscious mind is limited by its analytical nature and therefore sees all things as separate and distinct. We may be puzzled by a certain situation, but because it seems unrelated to other events, it's difficult to draw a clear course of action. But by contrast, because the superconscious level of consciousness is unitive and sees all things as part of a whole, it can readily draw solutions. Does that make sense? We have access to everything in the realm of the superconscious. Memory 1 and memory 2, we are looking out into the physical world of right now. And in memory 1, we're accessing all that is. So that superconscious mind and the land beyond, this ever exhilarating but complex superconscious, is a level of its own. It can be wooey and magical and mysterious, especially for those new to it or not yet experienced. So while the conscious and subconscious minds are familiar to us in this human body, the superconscious mind remains unknown and mysterious until we become practiced. It is the hidden spiritual system behind intuition, spirituality, and physical and spiritual healing. The work of our superconscious mind is often overlooked when we aspire to live a richer or more meaningful life, which is why Aubrey and I are coming here to hang out as the bridge between the 3D physical world and the all of us. So while we are familiar with the fleeting moments of raised consciousness, few know the techniques and purpose and those exalted states of the superconscious. Superconsciousness is the state reachable through meditation, chanting, affirmations, high frequency vibrations, prayers, specifically designed to lead us into that state of super consciousness. It is the superconscious mind that makes humans possible of achieving greatness and elevating the human spirit. So how's this sitting with you guys? Memories 1, 2, and 3, these 3 tools of perspective of our human experience. Everybody in this room is playing in the realm of the superconscious. That's why we're here. Memories 1 and 2, our human experience looking out, our lower chakras rising up from throat to third eye, when all of a sudden we turn our focus from out to in. We're touching our superconscious, the all of us. Beginning to dream gigantically, unlimited, dreaming bigger than ever before. Right? So we've got about 15 minutes left. So I want to know, maybe pass the feather around, how do we access our superconscious? Because our superconscious can come back in reverse and absolutely influence, change, heal, and delight memories 1, 2, and 3. Our emotional history can change. Our intellectual history can change. And aha, and life course changes are possible when we go to the superconscious and return to this human experience here. Anybody have any ideas? How do you access your superconscious? A really good meditation, feeling calm, these kinds of things. Let's pass the feather around. Just everybody just take a minute and say hello from your superconscious. May I have permission for my superconscious to be here in this room with you and your superconscious? So now there are 12 of us here. If that's okay. Yeah. How do you access, entertain, invite, almost as if it's another part of you to come close to you, communicate with you here and now? Anybody have any ideas? Or what are you doing currently? Anyone? Meditation?
There are so many right now. I remember in the early 90s, I took my dad to a Home Depot for the first time. We came from a small town with a local hardware store, and we walked into a Home Depot and were blown away. We didn't know where to start looking for a screw. And that's kind of how I'm feeling about this whole superconscious idea. It's this huge world that's almost intimidating. It's limitless. And there's so much to do and play with and learn, and different ways to access it. And where do I go from here? I want to go find a screw. Okay, let's start wandering, I guess. It's kind of fun, liberating, but a little bit intimidating. And so I'm just taking one small step at a time.
One small step at a time.
That's all I can do. Yeah.
I love it, that metaphor of I need one screw and I'm going to Home Depot for the first time. Where do you start? Wow, right?
Yeah.
As we go deeper into things like meditation, calm nature, and we experience this deepening peace, these calmnesses, these divine loves and bliss, it's then we are experiencing deeper levels of the superconscious. Another, I think, a way to follow that is when things are loving, joyful, attractive, easy. This is also spirit saying, come this way, come this way. When life is hard and difficult and struggling, that's our superconscious saying, new idea. It's hard for a reason. So where's your river of flow flowing? What is the strength of the riverbanks of your river of desire? Where is it easy? Where are you being guided? Where is the path of least resistance? Often, when we discover the path of least resistance, it's our superconscious or our higher self, the first one there to put their hand out to us in this human body saying, come this way. And so often we don't see it. Yeah.
I also really love the analogy of the screw in Home Depot because it kind of points to how we use the Akashic records. And we haven't talked a lot about the Akashic records so far here in this setting, but the Akashic records are they're the record of everything that has ever happened and ever will happen. And so each of us as each of our soul frequencies have our own entire library of all of our records that our soul has ever done. Everything that we've ever done, every thought you ever thought exists in these records. And so when you are going to Home Depot and you need a screw, our higher selves actually do have a guide. Our superconscious can be the employee at Home Depot that you go to and say, I need a screw, and they say, which one? and they show you which aisle, and suddenly you have access to much more wisdom than you could possibly ever imagine in the forms that we have, because there are infinite experiences to pull from, and they are organized, and you can ask.
Yeah, I was working with a client yesterday, who was in a massive motorcycle accident about a year ago, and that was an incredible invitation for him to re-look at his entire existence, to question all of his beliefs and to reset them in a gigantic way. And the last year, of course, he was really focused on rebuilding his body. Like, he broke,
everything,
bones in his body, and rebuilt his entire face and all this. And then he asked me, he says, Cory, I'm struggling because I'm aware of where I'm not healing. I'm aware of where I'm stuck. My body's not behaving. I'm scared and I'm terrified. And you talk about dreaming. You talk about stepping into this super conscious. You talk about changing your focus, a switch crafting of my focus to all that is my higher self. How do I focus on that aspect of myself that connects me to the all in the universe? And I had to laugh because he was saying all the right things. He said all the right things. So it was like, so I pointed it out, and he says, look, your superconscious is talking to you, even though you think you're talking to me. You talk about accessing your higher self. You talked about finding ease and joy. You talked about looking for your own healing, even though you're not finding it. That switchcraft moment of take the power from not finding it to where are you healthy now? Like, no matter how sick we are, if you're breathing, you're 95% healthy in our world today. If you are breathing and you are alive, 95% of you is well. That 5% of illness and disease can change your perspective on everything. But once again, we can give our intellect some tools to help us stay the course. Stay the course. So that's accessing our higher self, that superconscious aspect of us that connects us to the all in the universe, right? So the reasons to learn how to access our superconscious state, is that we experience things like inspired action, genius level thinking, flow state, brilliant ideas, operating from love and absence of fear, clear, enhanced perception, extrasensory perception, a broader perspective than the one of the ego, self-confidence, peacefulness, compassion. And all of this leads to intuition. When we get quiet enough to ask our highest self really good questions. Now, I want to wrap this up a little bit with the difference between trick questions and lofty questions. So it's often memories 2 and 3 that ask the trick questions of comparison. Why don't I have the money? Why can't I do that? How come I suck? Why am I not capable? Why am I not worthy? Why do I deserve it? Why am I not perfect? And when we ask the trick questions, our superconscious answers them. So what kinds of questions are you asking? the ones that keep you stuck and safe in this old operating system, or a lofty question, how can I be more worthy? Where am I capable? How can I be like them? How can I learn from them? How can I get more money? The how can I's I get to's, right? So many of us are taught straight up not to dream, don't daydream, it's against the rules, even though that's the most important thing we could ever do, is to daydream, access our intuition, access our superconscious, access our creativity. There's a reason we're told not to do that. Don't be the shepherd, be the sheep in our world today. You know? But how can we step into that superconscious world? What could possibly be more important than daydreaming about where you're going next?
Can I bring in a little bit of a friend of mine that I in Los Angeles, who's really a crazy shamanic kind of guy. And he always made me laugh at something or another, but he was so good at doing stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, you know, I have to do the laundry. I'd call in the Chinese laundry guy and have him show me how to do it or guide my hand. Or, you know, I'm going to cook this meal. I call in the cordon bleu chef from, you know, a big restaurant in Paris and have him help me on this. So you also have access to other knowledge besides just what's in you. And your higher self has access to that. Just ask and see what pops in your head. Follow it. Could be fun.
I love this phrase, what's sparking? You've heard me say that a couple of times. You know, so like sometimes like that spark, that ignition, the delight, the curiosity, the attraction, the new possibility, what caught your eye in a world with what surprised you? Where is spirit saying, interruption, I'm interrupting you right now. I'm ringing the back door. I'm knocking on your heart. When your spirit is actually trying to answer the questions you've been asking. You know, so how do we know that? How do we do it in a bigger way? You know, like I think some of the bioelectrical signs of not doing that, when we're ignoring our superconscious, it's pressure in the body, headaches, psychosis, unexplainable illness, emotional instability. All of these things are pattern interrupters to say, wait. See something else. There's more on the menu. There's more to choose from. Yeah. You know, so those inspiration moments, those curiosities, attractions, joyful moments, spontaneous laughter, light, safety, creativity, imagination. So that's where I wanted to go today with you guys. I'm going to talk about the three memories, and the memory one being the all of us, the access to the superconscious, the Akashic records, the field of knowledge, our cosmic conscious collective awareness together. And then we come back into our visceral, the body of right now. And we remember our child growing up with our parents and learning to stand on our own and then to take care of ourselves and then to step into the world, into leadership and business and right relationship of value exchange and all of those things. And we can never stop growing. So why don't we pass the feather around? Everybody just take a minute and say what touched you. What did you learn? What sparked? What are you taking away? What's possible now that wasn't possible before our conversation? And let's just go around. I'm going to call on Susie first.
Yeah, so when you were talking about step one, what popped into my mind then was I received these beautiful little clear quartz crystals from Gina. My package arrived just yesterday, and I gave these crystals to my youngest daughter. And I was just so beautiful to see her look at them and examine them. And What I didn't get as a child is I didn't have anybody explaining to me what crystals were. And when I explained to her that, you know, they have their own consciousness, she just lit up with a whole bunch of questions and all, oh, what can I do with this? And can I do with this? And I just want to say thank you to Gina, because that was really, really sweet of you to send those. And you know, my heart's just lighting up just talking about it, because, you know, I think I touched my daughter in a really special way by, you know, passing along, you know, those crystals from Gina and explaining, you know, everything that they could do. So I'm just really feeling grateful right now.
Thanks, Susie, for sure. Gina.
Well, that was wonderful. But I'm so glad. I knew your daughters would have fun with it. And the feathers. She got a lot of feathers too. But one thing that I remembered, which is from, I guess, in vitro or whatever, even though whenever I went in there, according to Aubrey, but there was still a certain aspect of abandonment that happened because I was adopted at birth. And I did some healing many years ago, that brought up my sperm donor father. Abandoned my egg donor mother during the pregnancy and abandoned me. So I've done a lot of work through that. And then I look at, well, I've never had a family, and how much of that is related to that, and did I work through it, and where is that taking me? So that'll be an interesting new path, because I've worked through it to a certain extent, but then it always gets revisited, and especially in these new times.
Yeah.
Whatever. So
Yeah.
Aubrey, it'll probably be another session.
Great.
Or something.
That's a perfect example of memory too. You know, decisions and safeties and behaviors and values that were set into your life before the intellect could put words on it. That's an emotional response, and we carry those things for decades, if not lifetimes. So you're right. Yeah, thanks, Gina. That's a great example of exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate that. Preston, I know you're out there. If you've got a second to pop in and say hi, you're more than welcome. If not, that's cool too. Just acknowledging that you're with us, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you, Preston.
Chris, you want to talk in?
I don't know what to say right now. I have so much energy that I'm having a hard time grounding myself into my reality of work, you know, day-to-day lives. And so just hearing tidbits like what I've heard today, about the memories, about the dreams, it helps. It helps. So I'm just looking right now for what my next steps are. I don't know what else to say. I really feel like I just want to scream and punch and ecstatic dance and do some breath work and meditate and do all of it at once. And I can't.
Yeah.
So
I think there is ecstatic dance tonight, Chris, if you want to go.
I thought about it. I think there's one Sunday I think I might go to.
Awesome.
And Chris, when it gets overwhelming, you can just spin.
Oh yeah.
Doing a little spinning works really good. There you go.
There we go.
But do it barefoot on the ground.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, thanks for being honest, Chris, about what you're experiencing right now with us. Really appreciate that, for calling it out to the universe so that you're not alone in this. And if you ever want some one-on-one, some brother time, go for a walk, or time with Aubrey and I, we can do that too. You know.
What is the best way to reach you, Cory?
Um,
I thought about through your Instagram page.
that's one way to get me here.
Okay. I appreciate this group. It's a really fun group. I've never been a part of anything like this, and so I appreciate what I'm hearing, what I'm learning, and what I'm feeling. So thank you.
Awesome. I just put my email in the Zoom chat, Chris. You can
Thank
just
you.
give me that way. And then of course, you know, Christina has my, she can get a hold of me. She, you know, there's ways to find me. Facebook.
Oh yeah, Christina. Yeah.
Facebook. You can, yeah, I'm findable. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Aubrey, do you want to check out?
Yeah, I mean, I think I brought up at the very beginning of this that one of my favorite things that I have reprogrammed for myself is when I was young, I recognized that I was creating my reality enough that I could put on the songs in the grocery store that I wanted to hear and that reflected my internal world. And I, through kind of recoding with my superconscious, I have been able to kind of revamp that as an adult. And it's such important work to be able to acknowledge all these things and actually realize that how much you are truly creating your own reality. And thank you, Preston. And thank you so much for coming. And it's just, I just wanted to say that it's worth it to do this work. Life can be so much more magical. Life is so much more magical than we think it is sometimes.
Well, as I check out with a couple of things I like to think about is that the only thing harder than doing this work is not doing this work. You know, staying in the realm of oscillating and suffering because we know how. You know, because we suffer because we know how. We were trained by masters who suffered before us. And we get a little dopamine, we get a little serotonin when we suffer. But when we choose expansion, enlightenment, healing, the path of life, when we choose to live a magical life walking with practical feet, things get easier. Things become more fun. And we get massive doses of serotonin and dopamine, and our body, our spiritual body and our kinesthetic body say yes to this. Yes, yes, yes. When we're suffering, we get survival doses of goodness. But when we're thriving and choosing joy and rising into who we really are and becoming the creators that we came here to be, then we get massive rewards, massive amounts of joy, massive amounts of reward. And that's why I know I'm motivated in this world, is that my healing journey took me to such a dark place and then brought me back in such a way that I want to be in service to you and humanity. I want to leave the world a little better than I found it. I want to reach my hand out for those who are ready to grab on, because it's worth it. And I know I stand here in confidence with everyone in this room who's experienced some awakening and some coming home and some remembering enough to say, stay the course. Stay the course. So the three steps of shamanism. The first one is be decided, which means it's okay not to be okay. The second one is follow and lead with your heart. See the world through love. And the third one is stay the course, because you're going to need your heart to stay the course, because you will be challenged. And so let's welcome that challenge. Let's welcome the struggles and problems, and let's do them together so that we're not standing alone, for we will always be more powerful in circle together than we will ever be by ourselves. And that's why I'm here. That's the gift I want to give, the medicine I want to provide. So with that, we're wrapping up our circle, everybody. Any last thoughts, last requests, ahas, takeaways before we say goodbye for today? Anybody?
Thank you so much for coming, everyone, today. This weekly little tune-up is just, it's been so great to get to have these energies come together every single week, and with the unique perspectives and with all the love that you guys have to give and all the effort that you're giving in your own lives. So thank you.
And thank you for your time. I appreciate you guys.
I appreciate you wanting to give our links to your friends, Gina. Please let us know if we can help with that in any way. We're gonna get our email reminders fixed. We're not quite sure why that's not working. I actually worked on it yesterday, but I guess I didn't get it done, but I'll go back and look at that. So thanks, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you.
I'm with you, Chris. Reach out to me, buddy. All right, man. All right, everybody. Be well.